Hi, I'm Mia Zhang, and I will be talking about my paper that I wrote on the trial of Socrates. Right now, I'm a rising junior at St. Paul's School. Um, and first off, before I start talking about my paper, I would like to thank Professor Murphy from Dartmouth, who provided me with a lot of guidance in writing this paper and in choosing my research topic. The reason why I chose to study the Socrates case was because originally I had always been very passionate about the classics. I've been studying Latin for a long time, and recently, or in my sophomore year, I started Greek. And that gave me the opportunity to engage with Aristophanes' The Clouds, in which Socrates is portrayed as kind of this very amoral and he's this very comedic character. And while it was fun to read about the character Socrates in The Clouds, I also got to learn a little bit about the history of the Socrates trial and how, by our modern standards, we now largely believe him to have we largely believe that he was not guilty, and we see it as a very big failure on the part of the Athenian justice system that he was declared guilty and executed in the way that he was. So I've always been drawn to the Socrates trial because of that, and also because Professor Murphy, he specializes in thought crimes particularly, and he encouraged me to write this appellate court judicial opinion that I have since produced. So first off, I know that the Socrates trial is actually a very overstudied trial, and a lot of people much more qualified than myself have written lots about it. So going forward with this piece, I really wasn't looking to make a very big breakthrough since it's already been so heavily written about. But I took it as an opportunity for me to engage more with texts such as Plato's Apology, Xenophon's Apology, Plato's Eusphoro, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And also a chance for me to explore legal jargon, kind of analyze the Socrates trial from a different perspective, not just morally, but also legally, and to try and see it from more perspectives and try and really judge whether or not what was happening was fair without caring too much of my own prejudices for Socrates. One of the most interesting things I found writing about the Socrates trial was that a lot of what I was writing about, it wasn't so much as building a very strong case to defend Socrates, more as poking holes in the prosecution. So in Miletus's his argument, because the burden is on the prosecution to prove that Socrates is guilty. All I have to do is show how the prosecution has failed to do that. In that sense, I am able to clear Socrates of his charges. So moving forwards, after having written my piece, I'm hoping that in the future, because of the time constraints, I wasn't able to, and my limited Greek as of right now, I wasn't able to translate these texts from Plato and Xenophon myself. But if I were to rewrite or to revise my essay, I would hope that all my translations are my own, and that's something that I hope to do. Another thing that kind of that this writing about this trial caused me to think about is one of the works that I studied was I.F. Stone's book on the trial of Socrates. And at first, I kind of saw it as just another book, studying this very famous trial, until I got to know more about I.F. Stone's background. He was actually a very renowned muckraker, and the reason why he got into classics, started studying Greek, started studying Socrates, was because of his own political agenda. At that time, tensions were rising between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, and he, as a political journalist, he wanted to advocate for democracy. So what better way than to go back to the roots of democracy, that is, the ancient Greeks and the Romans. So he studied that, and the trial of Socrates is actually portrayed as one of the greatest failures of democracy. It's showing how it's so easy for democracy to descend into mob rule, and it's one of the greatest critiques on this political system. So I.F. Stone sought to rectify that kind of perspective and show that the outcome of Socrates' trial was all his own doing, one, to show that Socrates was guilty, two, to show that really he was executed because he wanted to be executed. In my essay, I refute that point a little bit. But yeah, really having I.F. Stone, this person he's originally a journalist, write about Socrates really showed me the way that classics can be applied to the real world and applied to politics and philosophy, especially right now, today, with tensions rising between China and the USA, and these conversations are being brought up again of democracy versus communism, of whether which one is the better system. I really think that it's important to stay critical and critique all systems, really to just remain very aware about what's happening and to make our own judgments. So again, thank you so much, Professor Murphy. I had a lot of fun writing this, and I really hope that you'll enjoy reading my essay as much as I did writing it. Thank you.